Now it has been easier than ever to learn anything, basically, because you have tutorials, you have videos, you have all sorts of material readily available to you for free on the internet, and on basically any topic you can think of.
Yes.
And on the matter of music, that's even more widely available than most.
Okay, but would you say that it's easier to learn, or that the information is much more accessible, and it has an easier access than it did before? Because I think there is a clear distinction taking place there. Because the internet only allows for the exchange of ideas to be immediate, fast, and expedite. But that doesn't mean that knowledge has been acquired.
Yes.
Information has been shared. Does that make sense to you?
It makes perfect sense, yeah. And I think the distinction is very important, because I think the learning process, it requires, actually it doesn't necessarily require information, if you think about it.
It requires the acquisition of knowledge.
Yes.
Let's begin from there. What's the difference between knowledge and information?
Okay, so I think knowledge, on the most part, would be information put to a context.
Yes.
To make it very, very simple, and we can make it a little bit more abstract as we go.
I get you.
But I think on the most part, you would have knowledge is about the connection that you make of a particular piece of information and turn it into gnosis by being able to apply it into a context.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, I could say something similar to you, because I would simply add that knowledge is acquired not exclusively through the acquisition of information. It's also acquired through thought process and understanding of reality.
Yeah.
Not necessarily speaking through the acquisition of new information. Because everything you said is correct, plus what I just said, I think, was the only thing missing.
Yeah, because in the end, the distinction here is that information can not only be acquired, but it can be abstracted.
Yes.
Because if you have one and you have another one, you can derive to two without or 11 without being given either 2 or 11.
Yes.
So you can just get to that conclusion. And I think the process of getting to that conclusion is the real source of knowledge.
It is, because it is the whole journey that involves getting to that point or that position of gnosis, which is the word used by the Greeks to describe, and many other tribes.
That we're doing well.
Yeah. Acquire a particular wisdom, not necessarily speaking technical prowess.
But now coming back a step then, now that we kind of have a better idea on what is knowledge, what is information, and what is, and I think there's another
between
one.
two.
Yes. Now that music and everything else is so available, rather than using easy to learn, let's make it available.
Yes.
Do you think that has an impact on the way that people actually learn?
No, I think no, it does. Sorry. I was projecting my outlook on it. I think it's negative. First, it does. It has democratized the information, making it available to the vast majority of people of the world. That's the first thing. Secondly, it's incredible amounts of information that you have access to on your phone, without having to do anything other than typing down certain keywords, and nowadays even just asking the phone directly. So with that being said, I think the first challenge that we're facing as humanity as a whole with this overflow of information is the overabundance of it. I remember we saw somebody discussing or sharing that last year the regular human being got access to more information in one day than the entire life of anybody during the Middle Ages. So our brains are clearly not designed to deal with that amount of information. So one of many things that are happening right now, we will get to the music aspect of it, you'll see, but it's important to have this legwork done first. Having so much information in your head, it's actually making the thought process harder than ever. Because now the information or the brain power you require, or you still require to develop certain ideas or to get to certain conclusions, is now being occupied by memory. and keeping those pieces of information, random information, in your head and being processed to a point of them being at least understandable to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this overabundance of information is making learning harder than ever.
Yeah, and on top of that, but adding to the problem, because you're talking from the angle of it being way too much from for the brain to handle to a degree. Our brains are extremely capable machines. But
but clear extension, good point. Let me just elaborate a little bit there. I don't think that we're incapable of understanding the information, but the way that our brains are designed is not to take care of data, is to see data, synthesize the data, and come to a logical conclusion based on the results. That's why we got computers, and the computers are great for data analysis and data managing. But they suck at making decisions. They are unable to do it. That's why we even have the whole thing with the quantum computing and stuff and blah blah blah. Fascinating stuff, but it's still a dream. But it seems that there are some pushes there, actual pushes. There have been some alleged, not for real, by Google and Microsoft.
Yeah. Okay, well,
actual pushes, and one even involved the creation of new materials and stuff. For real, man.
For real?
And
okay.
Something very, very far-fetched.
That's actually kind of
beyond the scope of this conversation, but still.
On the scope of this conversation, on top of what you mentioned of this aspect of being an overload of information, you also have deriving from the same thing, but a different problem, which is the fact that since information is so readily available, you don't actually see the need of abstracting. Because since you have the answer to most of your questions at the tip of your fingers, you wouldn't necessarily spend the time or put the effort into thinking.
That's a problem, because many people are offloading or have offloaded the thought process to computers, or at least not thought process, but decision making to a certain degree. Because you see this phenomenon of people buying video games or going to movies based on opinions rather than what the objective truth tells them. And why? Because now people rely a lot on the opinions of somebody like us on the internet, rather than listen to those opinions, analyzing the data presented to them, and using the opinion to make a decision of their own. Now they just want to feel that they are part of a mob, that the mob approved. Whatever they are thinking might be correct for them, so they can go for it. If it's not approved by the mob, it's not going to be purchased by them. Makes sense?
It does.
And it's very common. So
it's delegating the thought process and the decision making to stuff that, well, is simply very detrimental to the learning process, which is something that basically the core of this conversation is learning.
And this is exactly the segue into music. People have access to tutorials everywhere, and people are learning the way to play a particular song through tutorials online. But nobody's able to write music as before. Why is that happening? Easy. They are offloading the thought process to the tutorials. They are developing the muscle memory. They are developing the motor skills required to play those songs. And we live in a world in which there are kids online that are way better than any guitar player in history at a technical level. And even compared to professional guitar players, I don't know, the first one that comes to mind, John Petrucci. There are kids that are better than him by orders of magnitude online. But why? Why? If they're better than him, they're not famous, or they are not in the same regard as John Petrucci is among musicians. Because John Petrucci has created several insanely beautiful songs. These kids are just playing incredibly fast, and there is no substance to what they are doing.